This video is sponsored by Wildlife Command Center Coffee. More about them at the end of the video. Hey everybody, it's me, John Ward, and I am back with another Dark Park Film Reviews. And this is the second deconstructing video. This one will be on The Grudge. And the first one was Blair Witch. The next one will be Rings. So, but today we're going to look at The Grudge 2020, which is a film that I like better and better every time I see it. It's funny is with all three of these films, Blair Witch, The Grudge, and Rings, I did not like them when I first saw them. Maybe my expectations were too high. I don't know, but I didn't like them. I actually thought that they were horrible. And then once they became available on Blu-ray, and I own all the other ones and I'm a completist, I'm like, okay, well, let me pick them up and watch them again. And then I did. And I liked them. And I thought, God, why didn't I like these movies? I don't know. I like them now. And then when I decided to do these deconstructing videos, I watched them again, liked them even more. And now, right before making this video, I watched The Grudge again. So that would be, wow, like view number 4. And I enjoyed it even more. I made more notes. I went back and rewatched scenes. I always leave the subtitles on, one, because, well, I'm old. And two, I also think it helps with writing. You could see the subtitles and how they use like different versions of a word or slang or how sentences are put together to how the actors are talking. I actually like having subtitles on because it helps me with my own writing. So I got a lot more out of this viewing of The Grudge than I did out of all the other ones. And so I'm glad I rewatched it and took more notes. I really don't know why this film gets so much hate. Maybe because there were so many other Grudge films that people were just like, been there, done that. I don't know. I was excited to get a new Grudge movie. I'm a fan of, I haven't seen all of the Japanese films, but I have seen and own all of the American versions and enjoyed them all. So first, before we really kind of get into it, let's look at the Blu-ray here. So here's the front of the Blu-ray. And of course, you're seeing this scene here, which is right from the original American version of The Grudge from 2004 with Sarah Michelle Gellar. And a lot of people I know criticized when they saw the trailer for this, saying like, oh, Hollywood has no more ideas. Well, you got to have some fan fodder and something to connect to the other films and stuff. So I have no problem with this at all. It does say here, the untold chapter. When the movie plays, the credit is The Grudge. It does not have this subtitle. So I actually like that they added the untold chapter. I actually thought that was pretty cool. This is a Blu-ray and digital combo pack. It says, from the producers of Don't Breathe and Evil Dead. I do know that Sam Raimi was a big part of this because it's done through his company of Ghost House. And there's also a review. Terrifying. Not an exclamation point, though, like terrifying. It's terrifying. And that is from Noel Murray from the Los Angeles Times. Here's the back. And let's see, it says chilling, haunting, creepy. And that is from Heather Wixon from Daily Dead. It says over 40 minutes of special features, including an alternate ending and bonus scenes, too terrifying for theaters. That does have an exclamation point. So that's how you have to say it. Too terrifying for theaters. The behind the scenes stuff on this is really good. I'm going to go to my notes here for this. So let me see here. So special features. What we have is, and you'll see me going from my phone to Wikipedia to my notes and my brain, just like I did on the last one. So, so the first thing that we see is making of The Grudge. And behind the scenes. Oh, so I see what they did. Okay, so they're not actually listing. Okay, so what it is that the special features are, so I'm glad I wrote this down. So designing death is one of them. It's 3 minutes and 3 seconds, which is not bad. There's the cast of The Cursed, which is 3 minutes and 44 seconds. Those two things, designing death and the cast of The Cursed, are more kind of just fluff pieces for the movie, you know, with the actors and you know, the director, the producer, stuff like that, saying how great the movie is and all that. It's fine. They're enjoyable. They're short, so I watched them and I enjoyed them. But it doesn't. It's not like the nitty gritty type of thing. It's stuff that you would see on YouTube and things like that to promote the movie. But it's good to have them on there. Now, the one thing that I loved, and it's called Easter Egg Haunt, Connections to the Grudge franchise. This I love, because what it is that it's the director telling you a lot of the connections to the other movies, and it could be Japanese or American. And I wrote some of them down. I didn't write down every one because I want you to get this Blu-ray and try to find these connections for yourself, especially if you're a fan of the series. So the first one is at the beginning of this film, you have. I'm going to go to cast here. Here we go. So you basically have, so it's Tara Westwood, and she plays Fiona Landers. And I've actually met Tara Westwood. She probably doesn't remember me meeting her. Long time ago, a friend of mine at the time, or two friends, had a film called Grown Ups, and they were showing it around. And at one of the premieres, she was there because she's in the film. It's called, at the time it was called Grown Ups. They changed the title to My Best Friend's Wife. Not sure where you could pick it up or anything, but it was one of her, I think one of her first films. And so I was able to meet her at that. Very nice person. So it was great seeing this kind of micro budget indie movie that she was in, you know, to start with. And now she's in like this kind of like, you know, big budget Hollywood horror, you know, like reboot. So that was cool. But so her character, who's, if I get a little closer here, Fiona Landers, is at the beginning of the film, she's leaving the Grudge house. And it's the same house from the 2004 Grudge. And she even mentions two people as she's leaving the house. She needs to go back to her family. She's desperate to get back to her family. And she mentions two people that are in the 2004 version. And that is Yoko, who works at the place that they would basically have people go out and I guess take care of these people that live at these houses, like elderly people. So Yoko was mentioned. Later, she gets her jaw ripped off in the movie. And then she also mentions Alex, who is Sarah Michelle Gellar, with leaving her some keys. So the films are definitely connected. So Tara Reid's character, or Tara Westwood's character, is the person who lives in the house before Sarah Michelle Gellar's character does. So there is that connection. So the ghost is still in the house, but it's also leaves with a new character to go to America. So there's those two connections. So it's actually three. There's the house. Well, four, because there's the garbage bags. And you've got the hands and the arms and stuff that reach out of the trash bags and grab her while she's leaving the house. And that's actually from Ju-on 1, The Curse. So just in the scene with her alone, with Fiona Landers, we're getting the house, we're getting Yoko, we're getting Alex, and we're getting the trash bags. So we got 4 connections to the 2004 movie. Then there's also, if you watch this, the number 4 shows up a lot in this. So it could be like a house number of 14, anything like that. It could just be 444, but 4 ends up a lot in this. And from what the director says, is that in Japan, the number 4 is basically like death, where in America, like 13 is a bad luck number. In Japan, the number 4 is. So he put a lot of that in this. Then there's, the police station. The address for the police station is 999, but he says if you flip it, it's 666. So he's got that little thing in there too. When our main character is basically Detective Muldoon, who's played by Andrea Riseborough, who I got to admit this. When I first saw this, I did not like her in this. I thought that she didn't look right for the part, like she was really miscast. I was not a fan of hers. There was something, I just didn't like her. There was something off to me just about it. Then I saw the movie Possessor Uncut by Brandon Cronenberg. I fell in love with her. I thought she was great in that movie. I think it's a great movie. So when I went back to rewatch this, I really liked her. I'm now a fan of hers. It's weird how one film can like change your whole opinion. And then when you go back and rewatch this, it's different. And now I love her in this. And now I want to see other films that she's been in. So I thought that she was really good. So there's a scene where her character, Detective Muldoon, is driving down the road and she sees like a mother with a baby. And then she sees this little girl who we find out later gets drowned by her mother. And that's the Tara Westwood character drowns her because she's got the grudge in her. And she swerves off the road to avoid hitting her. And of course, it ends up just being like a ghost. The director is saying that's also from like a couple different Grudge or Ju-on movies. And there's also, let me see here. Here we go. So the John Cho character who's in this, I really like him. I got respect for him. He stopped acting for a while. And he's Democrat. So when Obama was in office, like I said, he stopped acting and he went to go work for the Obama administration. And then when that was done, I'm not sure how long he stayed, but he was there for a while and then he came back to do acting again. And he felt that it was important to go work for the Obama administration more than acting. And so I hold a lot of respect for him for that. I voted for Obama twice. I'm a Democrat. And so I like that he went and did that. But back to the movie, he plays a real estate agent, and whose name is, I believe, Peter. Yes, Peter. And so in the Japanese films, a few of the characters are real estate agents. So the director has said that that's an ode, like a wink to those films. So he's continuing the real estate agent over to the States. Of course, the shower scene is from, the 2004 version. And then back to Muldoon, basically she dives deep into the Grudge case, or the Grudges in a way case, or the Grudge cases. And we see people from like the first couple Ju-on films. So there's a picture and it's all in like Japanese and stuff. And you see the Japanese families and the different, characters and stuff that are on there. So once again, this is not a standalone. This is connected. It might be, if there's a timeline, it might, kind of veer off as kind of like its own like little side film, but it still matches the rest of the series. So it was cool that the director, added that in there. I really appreciate that. Also the Sam Landers ghost, so the husband that gets killed, comes from the Ju-on Wii game. And there's a segment in the game that is about this janitor that comes like out of like a restroom. And he says that the director said he took that from that game. And then Lin Shaye, the great Lin Shaye, when she cuts her fingers off, when she chops them off with that, with the knife, with the butcher knife, that is taken from the Ju-on comic book. So the director did a lot of research, because he also wrote the he's the screenwriter of this. And that's the director's name is, and I've heard his last name pronounced two ways on the making of, Nicholas Pesci or Nicholas Pesh. So he says Pesh, but some people on there did say Pesci, kind of like Joe Pesci, I guess. But so he was one of the guys who wrote the story. He wrote the screenplay. He directed it. You got Rob, Sam Raimi, who produced it, Rob Tappert, who worked on it too. The Newton brothers do a great soundtrack. Might as well, I'll mention them since I'm looking at the back here. They're great just across the board. The Newton brothers are really good at soundtracks. And then so after the Easter egg haunt connections to the Grudge franchise, there's also extended and alternate scenes. So the back here doesn't really get into exactly what these are. So like I said, it's the making of the Grudge, and then which I think is supposed to be like the 3-minute. Then there's behind the scenes with cast and crew. That's the 3-minute. And then there's the Easter egg haunt connections to the Grudge franchise, where the director is talking to you about the Easter eggs to all the other movies. And then there's extended and alternate scenes. Now, the extended and alternate scenes, that's 30 minutes. So there's basically 30 minutes of this movie missing. And I wrote down some of the key scenes. So there's 7 scenes. The whole thing lasts, give or take a minute or some seconds, 30 minutes, we'll say. After these extended scenes and stuff like that, there's previews of just random movies. So that's the last special feature, I guess. But with these deleted scenes, the ones that I found to be really interesting, and some of these I wish they left in. And not too long ago, this is only maybe a few years ago, people would take the deleted scenes or alternate scenes, and they would edit them back into the movies. And of course, these would not be official. I don't even know if you could really call them bootlegs or not, because they would take like the DVD or Blu-ray and then take those deleted scenes that they found and stick them back in the movie to make the film longer and more complete. I remember one that I loved is the original Terminator, where it had in all that missing footage that's on that original DVD. And I loved it. And a lot of the times when I do watch Terminator, the Terminator, I watch that version because I really like those deleted scenes. So I kind of wish somebody would do that with these. So one of the scenes is there is a long scene of the Landers family. And what it is that it's a whole segment. I mean, just this whole scene of the family, the mom, the dad, and the daughter all together. And we are going through, after the mom comes home and we see what happens. So we see the mom like drowning the daughter. We see the dad really upset. We see the dad confront the mom. The mom, hits him in the head with what might look like a candle holder or something, and he falls down the stairs. Then that cuts to, so we get flashes of that in the movie. But these are all extended stuff. This is like an entire sequence that's missing. Then I wondered in the movie, like, why didn't anybody find bodies and stuff? Why aren't they talking about this? Well, we find out that she, in this scene, takes the dad into the garage and uses a saw to cut up his body, put it into a plastic bag, like a big garbage bag, kind of like at the beginning of the movie, when we had the garbage bags with the arm that rips out. I almost did that 3D. And then she cuts up the body, puts it in this bag, throws it in the back of her car, takes it to like a lake or a river, and probably, I think it's a river, and she throws it in. And then we see the main detective, who's Detective Goodman, and he gets called to the case because one of his guys says that some fishermen found this bag full of body parts. It is long. It is this long scene. And it's like, wow, this explains everything with the Landers family of what happened to them. And it's not like we see a lot of this stuff again. It's not like there's another murder that duplicates it. It's very much an original death. So that, and then after that, there's another really long extended scene with Peter, the realtor, where he goes to get them to sign some paperwork. And he sees the little girl that's there, who of course is now the new Grudge ghost. And I guess the Japanese Grudge ghost just kind of, or Juon ghost, disappeared once they came to America, because we see some of the Juon ghost a little bit, but it's mostly like the mom, the dad, and the little girl. And he's babysitting the little girl. He doesn't know that she's a ghost. Her nose starts bleeding and stuff, and the parents aren't coming home because everybody's dead. And he starts kind of cruising around the house, and this leads him into a bedroom where he finds the little girl, and she's drawing all these really disturbing, horrible, violent pictures with like crayons. And he's like shocked, and he looks up because there's something dripping from the ceiling, and it's all messy and gooey and stuff. So he heads upstairs to the attic, and there we find, and to his shock, he like freaks out and runs. But what he finds is the mother, like after she committed suicide, and the dead daughter that she drowned. And he freaks out and runs down the stairs. And then that's kind of where the theatrical version picks up is, he's seeing, like the little girl again, he's seeing the mom again. And then he goes back to his house and he's all weirded out. And there's a couple extra like shots of him with his wife who's pregnant. And that's when he kills her. So 2 of the stories in this have been massively cut down by probably 10 to 15 minutes each. And I think, I don't know, it doesn't hurt the movie not having them in there. But I don't know. I kind of like this stuff. I'd almost like to see a director's cut or extended version of this along with the theatrical cut. And then the last one I'll mention is there is an alternate ending, which is kind of a weird ending, is in the film, Lin Shaye, once she gets to like the hospital, which I thought was like an asylum or something, but it's not. I guess it's just a hospital. And she's going around in her wheelchair, and she ends up going, she gets off the wheelchair, goes up those stairs and jumps down, and basically her body just splatters everywhere. Just blood and guts and everything go everywhere. And then that cuts to, this is in a theatrical version, that then cuts to the Detective Goodman calling Muldoon and letting her know, hey, the character of Lin Shaye's character, let me get what I'm looking at her right here. Matheson, Faith Matheson, has committed suicide. Well, in this alternate ending, which is weird, is Detective Goodman is trying to get a hold of Muldoon, and he can't get a hold of her. So he goes to her house where he finds her hanging. She has committed suicide or attempted suicide. And he takes her to the hospital. She's okay. She's got the abrasions like around her neck and stuff. Her son is there. Goodman is there. And she's released. And as she's walking out, that's when Lin Shaye, when Faith Matheson is in the wheelchair, so it cuts between the like Muldoon and Goodman and the kid, her son, is leaving. And as Lin Shaye's character is going up the stairs, and just as Muldoon gets to that exit door, that's when Lin Shaye, Faith, hits the ground and is splattered everywhere. And Muldoon just kind of goes in and just stares at the body. And that's where it cuts for the alternate ending. So I don't know if that's where it originally ended, like if that's where the credits would have come up. It would have been a really weird ending. I do like the movie version better. I have to admit, the theatrical version I think is better. I think it was a wise choice to cut that. And I don't like the Muldoon character trying to commit suicide, especially since, Peter, who mentions it? It's William Sadler mentions, who's Detective Wilson. He mentions to Detective Goodman that he needs to protect his son or protect his family. And which is why we guess that he tries to commit suicide in Goodman's car. And, kind of in the curse with him, and then his family is safe. So I'm guessing that's what Muldoon did, was trying to protect her son by committing suicide. But I was not a fan of that. I like the theatrical ending much better. And it also leaves it open for a sequel too. One thing I will mention is the child actor that plays Muldoon's son. Even though he doesn't have a lot of personality, he's not annoying. I find most kid actors to either just be bad actors, or they're like these just obnoxious, annoying, know-it-all kids that are supposed to be really cute, and they're over the top, which just makes them obnoxious. And then some of them are precocious, is the word that I'm trying to find. And this actor was not. He's a decent actor. He's obviously being told, what to do, and he does it. And he was decent. There's some scenes in the deleted footage with him it was sad that it was cut. But they're not absolutely necessary scenes, but it's just kind of nice giving him his moment on screen. So he wasn't bad. He was actually pretty good. Like I said, normally I find kids in movies to be annoying. And now let's see here. So we're through that. So let's skip that there. And see, so we got special features. Let me share. Okay. So now take a drink. This is a mug from a store that no longer exists. They went out of business here in Vegas, called the Zombie Apocalypse Store. So basically it was one of those like army surplus stores where you could go in and just buy kind of like army stuff just off the street. And they had a great idea, which I guess didn't last, but and they made it basically a zombie apocalypse store. So you would go in there and buy supplies for the zombie apocalypse. And I was lucky enough to buy one of their mugs. And yeah, so I'm glad that I got this. I got a couple posters and things from them too. So this is kind of cool. And the reason why I thought I would use this mug on here is, while in Japan, ghosts are their main baddies. Like ghosts are huge over there. Like we don't even understand their history and mythology and all that stuff with ghosts. I mean, that's why there's so many ghost movies over there. I kind of take that zombies are our ghosts in a way. That there's so many zombie movies made, and there's so many films where relatives become zombies and then you have to kill them. Or they bite you and you become a zombie like them. That zombies are maybe our ghosts. So when other countries make zombie films, they might be kind of taking something from us, since George Romero kind of started this whole type of zombie, back with the original Night of the Living Dead. So that's why I thought this mug would be appropriate. So one thing that I did want to look at is the American franchise of this. So the original film, The Grudge, came out in 2004, and the sequel, Grudge 2, came out in 2006. So Sarah Michelle Gellar is the main star of The Grudge 2004. She's in the beginning of Grudge 2, and then she commits suicide. I think like she jumps out of her hospital window. I haven't seen it in a while. The 2006. Then Grudge 3, which is 2009, that's kind of like what they do with The Grudge 2020, is that they bring it to basically like America. And now this whole thing takes place in an apartment complex. And then there's Grudge 2020. And these are, so here is and we're not going to really get into these because I want to focus on the 2020 version. But so here's The Grudge from 2004. And this is it includes both the theatrical and unrated versions. So I wish they would kind of do this type of thing with the new Grudge and add back in some of those scenes. I really like this film. I also like that it is just not a completely separate movie, that it is kind of a sequel remake. I always think that's a smart thing to do. And it is, it's got some good stuff on here. Filmmaker and cast commentaries, deleted scenes with optional commentary, featurette, and short films. The short films, I believe, no, I'm not sure what the short, I'd have to look back to see what the short films are. But this is also the unrated version of it too. Like I mentioned before, that's the reason why I picked this one up. The DVD is not unrated, it's R-rated. The Blu-ray is unrated. So this is just Then we got this here for it. Kind of like what, it's like there's the eye, like what it's like it's looking at this hole right here, like what's gonna come out of that hole, or is that maybe the other eyeball? Like the other eyeball is this blue plastic thing. So I like that they put the pictures inside. So I do enjoy this film. There's also, of course, Grudge 2. And this is the unrated director's cut. Let's see, and it has, oh, I don't think I showed. Yeah, here's the back of the Blu-ray in my hand so you can see some of the stuff there. And then here's the back of Grudge 2. And let's see, so the special features on this, once again, are good stuff. Deleted scenes, multiple behind-the-scene featurettes. Then there's unrated extended cut exclusives, because this is also the, like I mentioned, the unrated version. So you get extra footage too scary to be shown in theaters, tales from The Grudge with Sam Raimi introduction, additional deleted scenes, and featurette. This film is 108 minutes and it's widescreen. This is 2006. And how long is this, Grudge? See if I can find it here. 2004. I'm not seeing anything. It's not listing. Oh, here we go. It's very tiny. Unrated version is approximately 98 minutes, and the theatrical version is 91 minutes. Excuse me. Wow, that's a big difference. That's like 7 minutes of footage that's added to the unrated version. I don't think I realized that before. This also has Bill Pullman in it too, which is pretty cool. And this one has Amber Tamblyn, and it's got, like the guest appearance by Sarah Michelle Gellar. I always like to mention music, which is Christopher Young. He's really good. Who did the music on this one? Christopher Young on the first one. And then inside. And then, of course, there's The Grudge 3, which I don't think a lot of people liked, but I enjoyed it. I think this one went straight to DVD, while the other ones did play theatrically. Does this one have like a subtitle or anything on it? What once was trapped will now be unleashed. What does the Blu-ray say? It never forgives, it never forgets. And apparently it's more terrifying than The Ring. That's what it says here. That is his opinion. This one says, you can't escape the curse. And then there's the back. So this one has deleted scenes. Oh, Toki Agoria, maybe? Toki Goria featurette, and then The Curse Continues featurette. It's widescreen, 90 minutes. This one is rated R. Here's the inside. And then Here's the spines for all three of those, since I like to show those. So those are the American ones. And then, of course, those lead into the untold chapter of the Grudge. Another series that I like that is taken from J-horror is the Pulse movies. These I'm not going to really look at at all right now because I'll probably just do a separate video on these, but I do have the original. Surprisingly, found this at Dollar Tree. And then these came as a pack. So there's Pulse Unrated. And I like the remake and the original just as much. I really like this series. So that was good. Then these two, I believe, were direct to DVD, direct to video. So Pulse 2. And then Pulse 3. And well, since I got them out, here's Pulse 3. There's the back of Pulse 3. And back of Pulse 2. Back of Pulse. And then back of the original Pulse. And then sides in there. There you go. And the way they came, because there is a slip jacket, but the slip jacket is only fits on part 3. Or either one, I guess, whatever one you want to put it on. But yeah, so they originally kind of came like something. Yeah, this must have come on part 3. Let's see here. Yeah, so it would have been like that. And then, but the triple feature thing is, it's weird that it's on part 3 is that. And then its back is only for part 3, I believe. Yeah, only for part 3. So it's interesting because you can see that there's like this is a sticker that they put on it. I'm not going to take it off, but I'll kind of pull it out here a little bit. But so you can tell that it's like a sticker. And you can see that it was originally just Pulse 3. And then they went, oh, let's put this on it. So these will probably be their own video because I really like these and I'd like to talk about them. So those will go back down here. The elements of this new Grudge that I really enjoy, kind of on the other side of the camera. So I really enjoy the colors in it, or the muted colors, actually. I know I've read some reviews where they say the film looks ugly. I disagree with that. I actually like the colors of the film. They're, like I said, they're very muted. They're kind of faded. Greens are still green, yellow is still yellow, red is still red, but they're very muted, and I think that it fits with the film. And so I don't know why people don't like that. It's not all neon, but it fits the film. I like that it has its own personality, that it has its own, like, it's not directed like the other Grudge films. It doesn't look like the other Grudge films. Even how it's written is not like the other Grudge films. This does have 3 stories in it. And so they're kind of, it's a non-linear movie. So it's not one story, then the next story. It's not like an anthology. It is an anthology, I guess, technically, but it's not linear. It's non-linear. And and I like all 3 of those stories in it. Actually, one thing I do want to look at before I forget is, let me see if I can find it here. Okay, here it is. So I kind of want to look at the what the films were, what their budget is, kind of like what I did with Blair Witch, and then what they made at the box office. So The Grudge 2004, its budget is 10 million. And then Grudge 2, its budget is 20 million. Grudge 3, its budget is 5 million. And then Grudge, and then the new Grudge 2020, its budget is 10 million. So the first Grudge movie worldwide made, and there's a lot of numbers here, so forgive me if I mess this up at first. So it's 187,281,115. So I think I said that correctly. So it made a buttload of money. Then The Grudge 2 did not make as much. So that made $70 million. The full thing would be $70,711 and $170,500. The Grudge 3 made, of course, oh my God, it made 69 million less. But on a $5 million budget, it made back, it doubled its budget. It's 869,127. And then The Grudge 2020, which was it made more than Grudge 3, but it made less than the other films. It made $49,511,319. So a total of all the movies, so its budget was 10 million, and it made, we'll just round up and say it was 50 million. I don't think that's bad, but like I mentioned with Blair Witch, they want 60 million, they want 70 million, they want 80 million, they want a billion, they want, they don't want, 50 $1 million, even though it went way past what its budget was. And from what the filmmakers were saying is they try to do as much practical as possible. So that probably even saved on money there, that they didn't have to do, VFX. So I still think this did really, I still think it did really well. It's probably not going to get a sequel. I don't guess that it's, as far as critical responses go, so The Grudge 2004, Rotten Tomatoes, it got a 40% out of 162 reviews. It's Metacritic 49 out of 32 reviews. Then Grudge 2 2006 got 11%. That's out of 76 reviews. And then it's Metacritic 33 out of 16 reviews. It does not list The Grudge 3. The Grudge 2020 it got better than Grudge 2, 20%, but it did have more reviews, 123 reviews. And then 40, and then for its Metacritic, 41 out of 27 reviews. So it still did better than Part 2, review-wise at least, but not like the Grudge 2004. It's really, it's interesting on how, on what is done here, because it's even something like the Ju-On series, which I'm not going to get into, but we'll say, let's just we'll look at print, just like novels for Ju-On. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I'm sorry, no, novels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 novels, 2 comics, and 2 graphic novels. For film and television, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 films. So that looks like they're including the American stuff too. Short films, there's 1, 2, TV series 1, video games 1, soundtracks 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's a miscellaneous CR Juan. So basically, I mean, I guess my point is there is a shitload of stuff that's based on The Grudge and Ju-on. So I can understand probably people not liking this new one as much as I think they should. But it's one of those things where I think the filmmakers for this new Grudge, I think they put in 100%. I think the cast put in 100%. I think the crew put in 100%. Obviously, the writers of the film did their research, and who knows if they watched everything. But from what I just told you, if they're taking something from a comic book and a video game and from the other movies, then they must have watched all of it or a fair amount. And they just seem to really kind of get into what they were, what they're making. Sorry. So there's like at the beginning of the film, so I'm kind of going a little all over the place here because my brain is going a little all over the place as I think of things to talk about. So stay with me, try to follow me, try to stay with me, please. So the film does, like I said, it does have 3 stories. And then one is the mom coming back from the original house in Japan. So there's the mom, the dad, and the daughter. Then the second story is, and they're in the main house in the movie, which is 44, we got 4s, Rayburn Drive. And so the Landers are in that house. But when Peter, the realtor, goes into that house, he brings the Grudge with him to his house. So that then becomes the second story. And what it looks like is the Landers are already dead. They're ghosts. They're all grudged out. And that's what Peter finds. But then he brings that back to his house. Like I said, that's story 2 that deals with Peter and his wife. And the wife is pregnant. And there is something wrong with the baby. That it could be autistic in some sort of way. And so that's the second story. The third story is with an elderly couple that moves in the house. And that is Lin Shaye. And then also, let me get his, Frankie Faison. And he plays the husband. So he plays William. So that it's Faith and William Matheson. And Frankie Faison is, you might recognize him from the Hannibal movies. I'm not sure. I don't think he's in Hannibal Rising, but he's kind of that, at the time, was the link with actually even with Manhunter. And then he was in, of course, Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, and Red Dragon. So he is the black like intern that's there. That's nice to Hannibal Lecter. He's a good actor. I've always liked him, so it was nice seeing him in this. And of course, Lin Shaye is always good, always nice and creepy. And she has dementia, and she's slowly losing it. And then they call in a suicide, excuse me, assist person to basically help her commit suicide on her own terms. So those are the three stories. And then there's the wraparound story that deals with the two detectives, and it deals with, well, I guess technically three, because it's also William Sadler's in there. So three detectives and the house and how they're dealing with everything. So they're kind of the whole wraparound to everything that goes on. And then the Detective Goodman, he never entered the house, so the Grudge never followed him. And I wonder about this because the actor who plays him, who is let me see if I can pronounce his name correctly. It might be it's like Damien, but Demion, Bick her. I know I'm pronouncing his name wrong. I'm sorry, but he's he plays Detective Goodman, and Bick, or it could be Beicher, maybe Beicher. Yeah, I think maybe it's Beicher. He plays Detective Goodman. He's a Hispanic actor, and I have a feeling that without mentioning it, because they don't really have to, but if you look at the details around him, in his car, there is what looks to be like a cross hanging from the rearview mirror. He is very dedicated to his mother, and even after his mother passes away, he can't get rid of the hospital bed that's in his house. Surrounding it and above it and everything are religious pictures and symbols and crosses and all that type of stuff. And I'm wondering if because the basically, like, Spanish or Hispanic people are very superstitious. They're very much into, because they're Catholic. And so I'm wondering if that kind of plays into his character. And I found that to be interesting because they could have gotten really anybody to play this if they wanted to. And maybe it wouldn't mean as much or nothing, but because of him being Hispanic, it does bring something out. It's like a good thing. And so you kind of understand his character a little bit more. It's also nice with, Lynn Shay and Frankie Faison. They're an interracial couple, and I like that. They said that they've been married for 50 years. So I thought that was good. I enjoyed that. And of course, then you have the first, then you have John Cho and his wife. So that's an interracial couple. And yeah, so there's a lot of diversity in this, which I enjoy, and it's never brought up. It doesn't need to be. I hate when they bring it up in movies. It's just if two people love one another and they want to spend the rest of their lives together, it does, then great, good for them. I just don't think that it needs to be brought up in the films of, why they met or how they met or hey, is there any backlash to your relationship or something? It's just not important. It just really isn't. Another thing that I did like is how there is no love interest in this movie. There's none. Muldoon and Goodman never hook up. It never looks like they're going to hook up. There is nothing to even say that they're going to start a relationship later or anything like that. Even with the deleted scenes, you can see that they're just friends. And that their friendship grows. At first it's kind of like, hey, new cop, come with me. And then it grows and she ends up trusting him with like her son. And it's just a friendship that grows. Who knows, down the road, maybe something would happen. Maybe with the way that the movie ended, probably not. But it's interesting because there is no, hey, let's go out to dinner scene, or them getting drunk together because of his mother dying and her husband dies of cancer. She tells us like 3 months earlier. And pardon me. And there's none of this, like they get drunk talking about their past and then they wake up the next morning and they're next to one another. Even in the deleted scenes, that's not there. I'm so glad that did not happen. It's not necessary. That's not how this stuff always works out. Sometimes it's just too soon. 3 months is probably too soon. Detective Goodman is still mourning his mother. So it was nice to see that. The acting in this, I think, is very good. I think that it's really good acting. I really think that Andrea Riseborough is very good in this. She does these long pauses that maybe some other actors would not do, and I like that. It's almost like you would think that the Blu-ray was sticking, that maybe it just kind of froze, and then you're like, okay, but it's not. It's just her kind of figuring out, what's going on, or just kind of being in her head. What else do I have here? So it's very, I don't know. I just think that it's just very interesting. It's little details too stand out. Basically, Detective Muldoon's car is a piece of junk. She does talk about it being a piece of junk in the deleted scenes, but it is a piece of junk. It's missing a lot of paint. It's got a lot of rust. It's just a junky car. Obviously, that's intended because it's mentioned in one of the deleted scenes. That's a little moment that I really like. Pardon me. Also, when Lynn Shay laughs, like when we discover that her hand, like she cut off her fingers, and Detective Muldoon is running out of the house, out of the Grudge house. Lynn Shay does a laugh, and in the subtitles, it's called a death rattle. So she does a death rattle laugh. So I don't know if that's just for this film or not, but I'm guessing that's that sound that, like, the little Grudge girl makes. That's the sound, from maybe the Japanese movies. That's, from the other American films, that it's known as a death rattle. And so I thought that was cool that they incorporated that death rattle in with her laugh. Other thing is that a lot of people, I saw some, I can't say a lot because I didn't watch a lot of reviews. I watched some just to kind of get an idea of what people thought of this. Basically, like I had mentioned, the colors of the film, how they're kind of muted, faded. There's a lot of burnt colors in it. And I remember one reviewer saying, where is the light source? So when you go into these houses, there are lights shining through the windows, and this could be at night. And those lights are normally kind of like a burnt orange or gold look. But then when you cut outside the house, it's just dark all around the house. Like there's no source for that light to be coming through those windows, especially at that color. And some people criticize that, of saying, well, this is stupid. Why is there no source for these lights? That didn't bother me. I mean, this is the grunge. It's supposed to be weird and just bizarre. I thought the film looked beautiful. I love that kind of burnt orange or gold light shooting through the windows. It didn't bother me that when we cut outside the house that we didn't see a street light shining in, or maybe it's somebody's porch light shining in. It just didn't bother me. I thought it looked visually really nice. And for this film, with how I thought that it was shot, I thought that it fit. I didn't need an explanation to why those lights or colors were coming through the windows or under a door or whatever it might be. It didn't bother me at all. And I think at times you just need to get past it. Now, if this was a drama and it was about a married couple, okay, then maybe explain where those light sources are coming from. But this is a horror film called The Grudge. So I don't think it matters at all. I really don't. It just visually just looks really nice. I liked the directing in this a lot, and camera placement. I like that it looked a little more Kubrick Shining. where it had that widescreen look, and the camera a lot of the times just sat on a tripod, and so a lot of the shots were static. They would, one hall would be here, the other hall is, side of the hall is right here, and the action takes place right here, right in the middle. I like that. And there's a lot of those type of shots. It's one of those things where I don't think people appreciate that as much as they should, my opinion. But there's let me see here. I brought something up here. So like the very end, the camera cuts from inside Muldoon's house, as an example, to the outside. It's kind of an angle shot, but not fully. Like the camera is sitting in her driveway, but it's just looking at the house. So after we see what happens inside, it cuts to that shot outside, and it waits. Nothing happens. It just waits and waits and waits, and then the credits come up, and then the main credits of actors and director, writer, producer, stuff like that play. Once it goes to the regular credits that are coming up, where it's everybody, that's when it cuts. So it's just this long shot outside, just a single shot of the house, silence. And I love that. I thought that was awesome. I really liked that. It wasn't like a boom, and then, it just cuts to the outside, into story, end of chapter, I guess, in this case. During the credits, there were, it was funny, as I saw two things. One is, this is actually called the 2020 Grudge Reboot LLC, limited liability company. And so they're very aware that this is a reboot, that it'd be, that it's like a reboot sequel. But also in there, where they're talking about what's being played on the TV, because every once in a while we're seeing what's on the television, is Stephen King's Kingdom Hospital, which I thought was interesting. And this is one of those cases where I really wish that the director did audio commentary, and there is no audio commentary. So that kind of bummed me out. But I liked that Stephen King was brought in on this. I liked Kingdom Hospital. Plus, it's, Kingdom Hospital is a remake of The Kingdom. So, and of course, this is a remake / reboot type of thing, for The Grudge. So it kind of matched. I'm going to kind of flip back and forth here on some stuff just to go through my notes. The Muldoon character says that she quit smoking. She said that her husband died of cancer. Maybe that's how he died, and she quit. But then as the stress goes on throughout the film, she does start smoking again. That's like a little thing that I like. It's just it's that I enjoy. Then when they're in Japan at the beginning of the movie, we see the Grudge girl that's standing behind the mom, and she's got the long hair. We barely see her eyes, all that stuff. So then when she comes back to America, I'm assuming that the Grudge is now in the mom. The mom kills the little girl in the water, drowns her in the bathtub. She now becomes the new, little Grudge girl, because that's who we see throughout this. We don't see the Japanese little girl anymore. We don't see her. And at least I don't think we do. And so I'm wondering, okay, is that kind of, bringing it out of Japan and bringing it into America, kind of Americanizing it and bringing it, and having just now this little girl that kind of looks like Wednesday Addams, is now the new Grudge girl, as I call her. So I thought that was kind of interesting. The house that's in Japan would still be haunted, but now the house it's that 44 um, what was it? 44 Rayburn Drive is now the new Grudge house. So if you just walk past it, you're fine. But if you enter it, you then take the Grudge to your house and then kill everybody there. And then that's it. But because this is the first house that the Grudge goes into, it permanently stays at this house, but it can leave with you. And then once, like the realtors, like Peter kills his wife, and then, he kills himself, now the Grudge is gone at that house, I wonder. Or is it still there? So if somebody moves into their house, is that now like a second Grudge house? Like, does the Grudge hop around? Almost like a virus or an infection or something, that it can go from place to place. It kind of has a cliffhanger ending in a way, kind of. So if they did want to make a second one, that'd be interesting to see what they do. Let's see, what else do I got here? There is one scene that I like that's in a it takes place in a grocery store. The woman that is the assisted suicide person, she goes to buy some groceries, and she's in this supermarket, like a small supermarket, and that's nicely shot. It's got good colors in it. And that's kind of one of the scenes that made me go, oh, this feels kind of like The Shining, because you would have the freezers on this side, the freezers on this side, and then she's like right in the middle, looking at some, at the deli department. And I thought that looked really nice. I wish that they actually would have spent more time in there, because the little American Grudge girl is with her. I think it would have been interesting to maybe go beyond that. Spend more time there. I like when films are in interesting places, instead of just a house, a supermarket. Not a lot of movies horror films take place in a supermarket. That's one of the cool things about the movie The Mist from Frank Darabont, is that it's, for the most part, it takes place all in the supermarket. So that was kind of a cool scene. William Sadler, who's the ex-cop who's now obsessed with this Grudge house and the case that he worked on, ends up shooting himself in the face. And basically, Detective, Goodman says, go home and be with your family, and then that's when, William Sadler's cop basically shoots himself. So I wonder on that is, we knew that William Sadler had the gun, his character had the gun. And so when the other detective says, go home to your family, is that when he gets the idea, I got to kill myself to protect my family? Or is it just a coincidence? Might be, but maybe not, with the way that it was timed. I also saw somebody criticize the makeup of William Sadler, because he does survive. He's in the hospital, and he's all kind of it's this, you can barely talk, and it's all puffed out and stuff like that, because he blew off half of his face down here. And some people said that as, oh, that makeup is really crappy, or, oh, that looks really shitty and stuff. I don't know. I've never seen anybody in that situation. I've never been in that situation where somebody blows off this whole portion of their face and then survives, and obviously you have to reconstruct it. So is that the way they would look? Maybe that's how they would look. It definitely wouldn't look perfect, but to me, it looked fine. It was a little dry, but then, you figure there's been some time going by, so it probably wouldn't be wet, but maybe some oil put on it, my skin is reflecting because I have oily skin. So maybe put some oil on there to make it look like it's oily skin, but who knows? I don't know what happens if you blow half your face off, but he's great to always watch. And a quick story. I met William Sadler once, long time ago. I lived in Pasadena. I worked at Barnes and Noble, and he came in and he was wearing a trespass hat. And I think it was right when he did Tales from the Crypt Demon Night, and he came in to buy some books. And we talked briefly about Demon Knight. I believe that's the film that we did talk about. And I had seen it at a special screening before it came out. And he really appreciated that I liked the film. I do think it's a good movie. I like that film. And it'd be nice to get an unrated version of that, because I think it was heavily cut. But he was a really nice guy. And, he definitely has he has a look to him. So, it's William Sadler, but since he had the Trespass hat on, the film that he made, Trespass, I was 100% sure that it was him. So I've met a few people from this that were in this movie, which is kind of cool. Let's see. That might be it. To be honest, that may be where we're going here. So it's. Yeah, I think, there was some stuff at the beginning, so I made a note, woman brings the grudge home to the Cross River, Pennsylvania house. And then there's some quotes at the beginning of the film that I liked, which might be in the other movies too, or something similar. When someone dies in the grip of a powerful rage, a curse is born. Let's see, it gathers in the place of the death, but cannot be contained. So that explains it going from person to person, house to house type of thing. Once you encounter it, ... it will never let you go. So I guess it's there until you kill yourself. That's the only way of getting rid of it, is if you kill yourself, which is why I guess in a lot of these films there's a lot of suicides, is because that's the only way of getting rid of the grudge. Otherwise, it's just going to be there and just kill you and other people and make you kill them too. Yeah, okay. All right, check this. Yeah, I don't think there's. What do I have on here? Yeah. What else has the director done? Let's take a look at that. So I discovered him on this film. So let's see. He did a film back in 2016 called The Eyes of My Mother. He was the writer, director, and editor. That was his first directing job, 2016. Then 2018, he did a film called Piercing, where he was the writer and director. And then, of course, Grudge, where he's the writer-director. He was also on television in 2020, Monsterland. He did episode number 6. So he hasn't done a lot, but I think that he did a pretty good job on this. So what's the future hold? Let's see. What does it say here? Future of The Grudge. In September 2019, The Grudge director expressed interest in a crossover film between The Grudge and the American The Ring series. I would be up for that, which was done for the first time in 2016. I was back in Japan, I believe. In January 2020, the director expressed further interest in a sequel being set in both a different part of the world than America or Japan, and in a different, less contemporary time period compared to previous films. So it looks like he's trying to get something going. Yes, I just think that people just, it's not, here's one review, dull and derivative. The rebooted Grudge waste a talented cast and filmmaker on watered down scares that may leave viewers nursing grievances of their own. Wow, the Cinema Score gave the film a rare grade of F. and that's A+ to F. Post Track gave it an average of 0.5 out of 5 stars. Wow, that's harsh. San Francisco Chronicle, Mick LaSalle, who I'm from the Bay Area, so I know this critic, not personally, but I know him from his reviews, said that the film was all premise and no development, adding, I saw this movie in the middle of the day, having a great night's sleep, and I had to slap myself awake a few times. Wow. Variety called the film a reboot of a remake of a film that wasn't all that scary to begin with. RogerEbert.com gave the film 3 out of 4 stars. Okay, that's better. Saying that it is often as nasty as you want it to be. It's cheesy jump scares and generic panicking be damned. Yeah, there's a few more bad reviews. There's no reason to go on with that. So I don't know. I like the film. I enjoy it. I thought it was well acted. I thought it was well written. It'd be interesting to see those scenes that were in the deleted footage put back in, I think. I think it's worth another view, just like Blair Witch. And Rings. So, give it a shot, especially if you could see it on like Tubi or Netflix or one of those places. Give it a shot or buy the Blu-ray that has a whole bunch of cool special features in it. And you get all those deleted scenes and the the director talking to you about the Easter eggs. So give it a second chance. Please don't just throw this away. $10 million budget and and it made all that extra money is pretty good, I think. What is it? What I said, like rounding up, it was like 50 million. That's not too bad with a $10 million budget. But so I guess that's it. And please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you on the next video, which is going to be the Rings deconstructing. And I got you can see it's getting smaller up here. So here's Rings. So there's my research material right there. And that should be fun to go through. But yeah, that's it. So thank you very much. I appreciate you watching, appreciate your support, and I will see you on the next video. Bye. Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging out after the video. And thank you for watching the very first Dark Park Films sponsored video. And who is that sponsor? Well, I've now learned if I do this with my hands, they go to the right area. There we go. That would be Wildlife Command Center Coffee. And you can purchase it right there. You can go to their website, which is buyWCC.com, and pick up their coffee. They have 2 blends, which I'm going to show you now. The first coffee is this one right here. This is a breakfast blend. It's 10 ounces, and it is a medium ground. And it does say, and it's breakfast, like I said, and this is what it says right here. It says, early bird can catch the worm. So there you go, a breakfast blend coffee that helps you catch the worm in the morning. And I really like this one. I'm more of a breakfast kind of blend coffee guy in the morning. So this one I really like. It has that little bit of oomph to it to kind of get you moving, get you up and out. And so I really enjoy this one, but that doesn't mean that I don't like the other one, which is this one right here. This is a dark roast. It is also 10 ounces. And both of these are $7.99 at their website. Pretty good price for 10 ounces worth of ground coffee. This one is, it's a little darker. So it's, I think it's better for drinking at night. Maybe if you're, writing a screenplay or if you're filming, this has got that oomph, that double punch to get you going. So this is one that I also recommend. I like both of these quite a bit, but I kind of do, the breakfast in the morning and then the dark more at night. So I recommend both of these quite a bit. And how did I find out about these two, these two coffees here? And how did I find out about Wildlife Command Center? Well, when I was working on Night of the Zomghouls, there was a box of coffee that was just sitting there, filled with coffee. And we didn't know what to do with it. Like, whose is this? Who brought it? Why is it here? And so we just kept going to the store and buying coffee. And then one day I said, why don't we just get the coffee out of the box and use that instead of, wasting money on going to Smith's or whatever and picking up coffee. So we did. We did not realize that it was the Wildlife Command Center coffee and that it, was sponsoring the movie. And it was great coffee. Everybody loved it. And we just went right through it. By the last day of filming, this coffee was gone. And I went and found out, about Wildlife Command Center, asked if they would like to be a sponsor for Dark Park Films, for their coffee. As many of you know, I love coffee. I love coffee mugs. And so this was a perfect match. And Wildlife Command Center is great with animals. So they provide a great service for rescuing animals. So it's kind of that double whammy for me, where coffee, helping animals, you can't go wrong. And they were even cool enough to send me, get in there, a coffee mug, because they knew that I liked coffee mugs. And right now, I don't get that. That a little bit. I'm going to go on the keyboard, but that's their dark blend, because I'm recording this at night. So I am actually drinking that while recording. Also, one thing that you can get at their website, which is cool, is you can get this. There you go. This pocket knife, which is $9.49. And this is pretty cool because it has their name on it. Wildlife Command Center, we can catch it. And this is what it looks like. Put that down there. There we go. Fully out. So you're getting like the bottle opener, you got the corkscrew, you got a screwdriver, you got a blade, and then you got this little hook thing that you can pop it into something that doesn't have a tab, and then the liquid or whatever in there will come out. So this is pretty cool. And I'm just going to keep mine in my car, because you never know, you might need a pocket knife. So please support them. I'm going to have links down below, where you can, check out just the Wildlife Command Center. I'll also have a link for Wildlife Command Center coffee, and it will basically be for both these guys right here. And please support them. I support them. I think what they do is pretty awesome. And maybe this coffee will be on your set or in your kitchen. It will definitely be, on my set in my kitchen. I know that. So please, once again, I'm going to show you these. Please go to their website and pick up their coffee and make it part of your day or night, depending on which one you like. So that'll be about it. I really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me. And yeah, so thank you. And once again, please support my channel. Please support the Wildlife Command Center, and I will catch you later. Bye.